So the light kept moving. I couldn't see myself. Okay, so let's have a look. I'm just going to click comments on just in case any of you are there. So it is October, and today is the last day of detox, and we have been doing detox for 2 weeks because it's still a bit light, bright. Because the first detox we started 2 weeks ago, and a lot of people couldn't make it, so I did it again. So now we're into 2.0 detox week, and I did today my own detox and flush. So we're all kind of like flushed out at this time. Now, that's not why I'm on, although I do hope everyone that's done detox today feels amazing. I'll be seeing you all at 5:45 later on in our Zoom call. The reason I've jumped on is because on a rare occasion last night, I was listening to some podcasts, and I was listening to one specifically with Bruce Lipton, and it really triggered so much inside of me. And having spent the last 2 weeks in lives every day with obviously people I know from the Quantum Wellness Academy, but also new people, which I'm really grateful for. A lot of things kind of came to mind, and I take them for granted. But hearing Bruce Lipton talk about them last night, again, I thought, you know what, you guys, you really need to get this bit, So I thought I'd jump on. So again, a lot of questions. Why do we get sick? A lot of people think, it's genetic, or it's to do with something they're doing, or it just is bad luck. Bad luck that you get diabetic, or bad luck, that you end up with Parkinson's, or bad luck if you get fibromyalgia. And a lot of people also accept the fact, which has been very evident this week, there's a lot of people accepting the fact that what is, and it's a case of learning to live with it instead of trying to, reverse engineer it back to your own blueprint, your own DNA blueprint. Because obviously, if you were not born with these conditions, then guys, you acquired them along the way. So it's all about getting back to your blueprint. And listening to Bruce Lipton last night, obviously I've listened to him for a very long time. I thought, if I could unpack what he's saying for you guys, I think that it would really make a difference in leveraging your wellness and how you move forward. Because out there, there's a lot of noise on if you changed and if you did this and you can be better. And, in my experience, all that's just BS. It's not about change. It's not about changing who you are. It's about knowing something quite key and shifting the direction you're moving in. And that key thing was discovered in 1967. Up until 1967, science believed that everything that showed up in our bodies was dictated by our genes. All right, so that's genetic. And then in 1967, due to a series of experiments, most of them conducted by Dr. Bruce Lipton, he took stem cells, which are the same stem cells from the same person, from the same part of the body. And what he did with them is he divided the same stem cells into 3 petri dishes, all right? And he changed the liquid, the environment that each of the stem cells was in a petri dish. And basically, within inside the next week, one cell grew kidney cells, the other cell grew bone cells, and the other, a petri dish, grew fat cells. So they all came from the same cell. He cloned them. So what he discovered was, in fact, it's not the nucleus of our cells that make things happen in our body. It's the environment that we put those cells in. Why was this? So this was 45 years ago, right? 45 years ago, this discovery was made. And what we now know is the membrane, not the nucleus, but the membrane of every cell has receptors on there. And everything external to that cell, so where that cell is sitting in, so that's your body, your systems, it's also, you know, the country, the city, the town, the family, the world that you're in, all of those outside things send signals, which is picked up by the receptors on the wall of those cells. All right. And it's those receptors, like an antenna, that tunes into that frequency and responds accordingly. I've spent the last 2 weeks talking to detox biohackers, literally about the mind, the brain, how the mind sends the program to the brain, how the brain, you know, the chemist changes the prescription of neuropeptides and sends it down to the cells. And that's what shows up. And it's those peptides, neuropeptides, when they arrive at the cells, they change what the cell's going to do. And that's basically what happens. And so, yeah, if you were not born with diabetes and you were not born with arthritis and you were not born with any of these conditions, in fact, if you developed them, then you would have developed them because the signals being sent to the wall of the cell gave a message that was received that developed those things. So how do we undevelop them? Well, we change the program. You know, this week, everything I've had all of our detoxes doing, eating, drinking, the biorhythm, the circa, the sleep, the breathing, every single thing that they have put in their body or subjected their cells to has been environmental. And all of those environmental factors have sent different signals to their cells. So their cells did something quite specific. I wanted their cells to open the pathway of elimination. There are many, because we are detoxifying. That's what we've been doing this week, detoxing. So if I want detoxification to happen, then I need the pathways of detoxification to open. And if I need them to open, I need the cells to do that. I need to communicate directly with the cells. How do I do that? I do that by changing environmental factors: what you drink, what you eat, when you sleep, what you do to your skin, which is the biggest receptor that we actually have. And so it culminated in everybody's body, all their cells doing exactly what I had orchestrated them to do, which was open the pathways of elimination and draw all of the toxic overload from wherever it was being stored out through the body, through the pathways that we had opened. And the results have been astonishing, really. I am truly, truly grateful. Now, one of the interesting things about this past 2 weeks of detox has been how people who have never done it before, so they're coming in here with sort of a few limiting beliefs. You know, once they've done the protocol day 1 to 5 to get them, you know, to the big flush at the end, once they've learned what to expect, they've programmed their body what to do, and their body is clearly doing it. What they have felt is incredibly confident, incredibly empowered, all right? Incredibly in the driving seat of their cellular self. And that is, I think, the biggest miracle, you know, for me of all, that we feel that empowered, that we know now. People that have done detox this last 2 weeks now know that what they do every day, what they eat, what they think, how they sleep, and how they hydrate has a specific impact upon their cells. And that has an impact upon their body and what shows up. So if we were to do this with anything at all, you know, that we are carrying, we can reverse engineer so much within inside the body. And the fascinating thing last night, when I was listening to Bruce Lipton, and he was speaking to Russell Brand, it was on YouTube. It was a fascinating interview. A lot of it was kind of like overwhelming to Russell Brand. But, you know, Bruce Lipton was really, really clear about this. You know, throughout history, we have these people that have this knowing about there are two kinds of people in the world: people that think and people that feel. So when we, for example, fall in love, we're feeling something. We're not thinking, we're feeling. And when we are feeling, it changes our frequency. That changes how our cells vibrate. And all of a sudden, even the, things that we really don't like, say our job, or traffic, things that really annoy us, those things vanish, right? Because we raised our frequency and vibration by virtue of feeling something that we don't normally feel, which is this feeling of being in love. However, the other people who are thinking, thinking there's going to be traffic, thinking I'm going to get sick, thinking it's flu season, this is going to happen to me, thinking, their vibration is shifting in their cells, all right? And they are, by virtue, resonating with those things they are thinking about. So if you're thinking about not having enough, and I've heard this so much this week of so many people, I don't have enough money, I don't have enough time, I don't have enough of something, if you are using that as your mantra, if you tap into that, if you believe that, that's the frequency, not just that you're thinking, but that you're feeling, and that is resonating with every cell in your body. All right. And more things to give you not enough time or not enough money or not enough of whatever it is will show up. All right. Because that's the frequency you're vibrating at. So anybody that wants to flip that, doesn't matter if it's a physical condition, if it's, something affecting the mind, if it's something affecting your life, the relationships. And I've spoken about this quite publicly. I had a mantra for a long time that I'm really shit at relationships, and shit relationships kept showing up until I decided that I'm not shit at relationships, that in fact, I'm potentially very good at them. And within 10 months, I became very good at them. And I've been in the same relationship now for 15 years. So we can change by changing the way we think and changing the vibration that we're feeling things at. Changes the signals being received by the cells, which changes the structure of what our cells do. So are your cells regenerating, for example? Are they? Are they degenerating? Because they can't be doing both, right? So are you regenerating or degenerating? And depending on where your head's at, what you're thinking and feeling, what you see when you look in the mirror, depends on that. All right. And so a lot of it is to do with the cell being a receptor, millions of receptors inside the human body. And so if you want to change what your cells are doing, then you need to change the signals being sent to them. That's epigenetics. That's environmental factors. All right. And if you want to change the neuropeptides being sent down into your cells, which are changing the structure of your cells, then you need to go back to source, change the program. All right. We've been programmed through every single experience, we have had from the minute we were born to now. And we're being programmed every day by the signals stimulating our cell walls. So if you don't like the program showing up in your cells, in your body, in your life, in your relationships, in your mind, in your career, in your bank account, if there is anything showing up in your life that you do not like, then the only way to change that is to change the program. All right. And the program is not changed, overnight. It's changed through practice, through changing the frequency, changing the vibration, changing the things that show up, the signals that show up on the receptors of your cells, of your vibration, of your energy, and of your frequency every day. All right. And that's what I teach people to do. I break it down, unpack it step by step, and we restructure it over again. So that is, my passion, my purpose. It's what I do for people. It's incredible how life, our mind, our body, our cells, and everything that resonates out from that is so interlinked with each other. That our cells know self and reject anything outside of self. unless we change the program inside, which comes from mind and comes from what we do every day. It's fabulous. And the last thing I want to say before I go, big question of the weekend, I divide people into two categories: people that see a glass half empty and those that see it half full. And when I'm meeting people after a few minutes, I can pretty much, I'm good at it, like 98%, I'll get it right, whether these people see life as a glass half empty or a glass half full. So are you looking at what's not there, what should be there, what could be there, what would be there if those things had happened in your life? Or are you looking at your life and everything that happens in your life as a glass half full, being incredibly grateful and present with all of these present things that are happening in your life? Are you very receptive to that? Are you tuned in to all of the things you have and how blessed you are? Because, the glass ultimately is half empty and half full. So nobody is wrong here. But what matters greatly is by knowing if you are perceiving the glass automatically as half empty or half full, because by knowing that, you can know a lot about yourself. You can know a lot about why things show up the way they do in your cells, in your body, in your life. All right. And so there's a lot to be said about know thyself. Know thyself. Because if you don't like what's there, guys, change it. Change the program and start with looking at what is already there and using that as the foundation to build more upon. Right? So that's my Sunday bit of wisdom for you. And if you get a minute, then go to YouTube and Google Bruce Lipton and Russell Brand. It's really, really interesting. Really interesting. And very interesting thing for me was the fact that anyone going out there publicly and saying that this is how our bodies change, that this is where this information is coming from. It's coming from the receptors on the outside of the cells. Those people are very quickly villainized, ridiculed, pushed down, removed because it doesn't fit the narrative. I've never fitted the narrative. People have been villainizing me and trying to ridicule me my entire life. It's not going to stop me speaking the truth, seeking the truth, and bringing the truth out to the people that want to listen to it. All right. And so I want to say happy Sunday. I've got to go on into a live now about detox. So yeah, guys, there is a way. Never feel stuck. You can change the program. It's in your mind. It's in your life. It's in your cells. It is your frequency. You are extraordinary. You are the only version of you on the planet. And if something is showing up in your life that you do not like and you want to change, then it is within you to change that. All right. It's all in the knowing and the practice. Anybody that wants to hear more about this, please go to Reoccurring Wellness with Beverly Rimmer on Facebook if you're not already in there. Or, if you'd like to join us, please go to beverlyrimmer.com and you can see all of the ways within which you can access some of this information. In the meantime, I'm going to say happy Sunday. Ciao, ciao for now. Bye-bye.